Hi everyone and welcome to the channel Healing for All. We are in Spain and this interview will be translated. Today we have my uncle Agustin Navarro and we are going to talk about diet and sports. So stay tuned because it's going to be a very interesting episode. See you now after the intro. Agustin Navarro is a sports expert. He has practiced all kinds of sports and has also advised people on diets, right?
Yes, to lose weight and all that.
Bangladesh is the the first country with India with the highest number of diabetes. And why does diabetes happen? Because we have people who overcome high body fat or high body fat index, and how we can solve it. Like type 2 diabetes, not type 1, if you have been diagnosed before 5 years by dieting and exercising. By following these two guidelines, you can reverse sleep but not eliminate diabetes. That's why this episode is so important. Now, I will stop talking to you, I will stop giving you a long story, and my uncle will explain to us why Agustin decided to do sports, what led him to do sports, and how his process of losing weight was.
Okay, I started quite a few years ago and I also smoke a lot, which is also not good for the body. And I began to understand that the more fat the body had, the more difficult it was for me to breathe. You sweat more than normal, you have a lot of fat, and so little by little I started to do sports very slowly, because of course it's not good to use it at the beginning, because the heart has its limits too. So very slowly I started from 0 to 15 minutes, then another 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and so on. Little by little the body begins to assimilate the exercise, and little by little your body begins to feel better and better. Breathing improves, you wake up in the morning and you feel your heart beating very fast, but you quickly recover. You climb stairs and your heartbeat slows down, your legs get stronger, you notice that your blood is circulating more through your body. The itching when your blood is not circulating well is due to the fat that is inside your body, and that has to be removed.
And it has risk of heart attack, right?
Exactly, yes, correct. And little by little. The truth is that sports is the best thing I started doing in my life, because it's something that accumulates in your body when you don't do it. It feels like you are missing something, like eating. Sport, when you don't do it, you feel like you are missing something, and it's doing a literal sport. You don't have to do a high performance sport, but 20 minutes a day on average, practice 5 days a week, can make an overweight person notice a big change in their body structure.
Okay, can you explain how many kilos you lost the first time you did sports or decided to do sports? Because you were already an adult, right, when you started?
Yes, correct.
Can you explain how many kilos you were and how much you lost?
Well, look, I got a weight here in Spain. We did military service, and there I weighed 82.5 kilos, and I am 1 meter 67 tall. I had about 20 kilos to lose, from 20 to 22 kilos to lose. In about 2 months, I managed to lose about 10. 2 months, no, maybe a little more. In 3 to 4 months, I managed to lose 10 kilos, and I already noticed that my body was changing for the better. Then, slowly, I lost weight little by little, until now that I weigh 62 kilos at 55 years old.
And it doesn't seem like it, does it? What sport does?
Yes.
Okay, so Can you tell us why people find it so hard to start a diet and why it is so hard to start exercising when they are not so sedentary? Because I have many patients who come to me, I give them their diet, I give them their exercise, because there are people who believe that without exercising they will lose weight, and I think not. That's why I promote both things, and they come to you a week fatter, and then you tell them, you haven't done anything, and they say no. But it's impossible because it's pure mathematics. If you don't burn more calories than you ingest, you don't lose weight.
Exactly. I highly recommend that yes, you have to do sports and eat less, not too much, so that your body can gradually shrink. But I never recommend just dieting without doing sport, because for the person who has a lot of excess of fat, the fat will hang when they lose weight, and if they don't do sports, it will continue to hang on your body, and then you look in the mirror and you will see that is not your body, because as they say, the skin falls off from all the excess of the fat, and instead by doing sports you change that little by little, unless you are an already obese person who already has to undergo medical treatment or go through surgery. But a person like me who was 20 kilos overweight, if I had only diet without doing any sport, my body would not be well, because the body has to expel all the fat that it has inside. And if you only diet without doing any sport, physically the heart does recover and you get rid of the fat, but you don't recover the depth of our power to breathe by doing sport and for the lungs to open up.
Also, as I always say, if you don't exercise and just diet, you also lose muscle. And muscle is the part of the body that consumes the most calories and can speed up your metabolism, making it harder for you to gain weight later as your metabolism changes. Because if you don't, you are going to lose weight, but you are still going to look bad. On the other hand, if you exercise, your muscle is going to grow and you are going to notice yourself in a different way, which is called body remodeling, because you will change your metabolism.
Yes, because you look at yourself in a mirror and you see your muscle. Maybe you say, well, I will put on these pants and I will notice that I have lost something when I fasten my belt, but no. But well, you are going to notice that you are going to lose 2 sizes more, and then you will look at your legs and you will see the muscle in your leg, and you are not going to see your leg as flabby as happens if you only diet. So little by little you will start to like yourself, and that will make you see yourself handsome, and that it in turn will give you the initiative to continue doing sports and dieting. But about sports, you will see that once you start, it's something that gets into your head, and in the end it works.
And also you look more handsome, right? Because in Bangladesh, for example, it's very difficult to find large sizes. But if you are a medium size, there are many clothes you can choose from, and they are even cheaper.
Correct, yes, correct. Look, when I weighed 82 kilos because I was very young and I had to buy a pair of pants, an example of a size for them to fit me well was 44, but of course they were too long, and I had to cut the bottoms of the pants. I had to buy them bigger than necessary because they were too long for them to fit me. And of course, now that I weigh what I should, I buy a size 38 or 40, and I like how they fit me. I feel happy. And as you say, you look yourself in the mirror and you like to see yourself handsome.
Yes, exactly. There is nothing better than loving yourself, and seeing yourself well is always positive for mental health as well as for health in general. It also clears your mind, right? It happens to me that you have a problem, you go to the sports, and when you finish, you have disconnected. It works as a psychologist.
Exactly. Because you go jogging, for example, and you think about your things. But once you start jogging, you disconnect from everything, and when you finish, you say, how great that I did this sport, how good I feel. Then you take a shower, and you feel like a new person.
Why do we get the best ideas while doing sports?
I think that the mind relaxes and everything relaxes, because when you start You are thinking, but just 20 minutes walking quickly, running, or climbing stairs makes you disconnect. The endorphins work, and when you finish, you feel good about yourself. And that is the best thing in the world, feeling good about yourself and not overthinking. And sport makes the neurons respond better.
To finish the interview and before moving on the typical questions that all the patients ask me, I wanted to ask you a couple of things. What sports have you practiced in your life?
Look, I have practiced football, a bit of basketball, jogging, spinning, swimming, mountain hiking, and CrossFit. I also do weight training because the muscles need to be strengthened. I only do it once a week, but what I practice the most is running.
Do you think it's good to do aerobic and anaerobic exercises at the same time? That is to combine them, or just one type of exercise that you like?
It's good to do everything at once because there is always an exercise in the body that if you don't do it, the muscle will fall asleep. And you always have to keep it awake. Because if you do exercise like running and then cycling, you don't work the muscle in the same way. So, to keep your muscles from falling asleep, it's always good to do a bit of everything.
Okay, and taking into account the exercises that you have done, I am going to ask you a couple of questions. If you had to choose the best one for losing weight, not just for starting to lose weight, but for example, who has been trying out different sports for a while, for example, for 5 months, which sport would you say is the best for losing calories or for losing better faster? Which one would you choose?
Running.
Okay, running. And for a person who is just starting out and it is impossible to get them out of bed and they tell you they cannot, that it's extremely difficult for them?
Walking. Walking at least 20 minutes a day is where you start first, where your body starts to get used to it, where you don't get tired like you do when you run, but your mind tells you to go one more day, 20 minutes, now 25, now half an hour, and then starting with walking, you will see how your body will ask you to run. Today I'm going to run for 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, and so on. But walking is the best way to start. And in the end, you end up running all that time. And if you want to lose weight, the best thing is to run. But I know that not everyone can do it because it's tiring. But walking won't tire you out. And it's really the best because it's good for everything. Start little by little and you will see how your body will thank you.
Do you know, I had a patient with a lot of body fat. She was like 30 or 40 kilos overweight. I sent her out for a walk, and when I asked her if she had gone for a walk, she said, yes, I went shopping. And I said, really? And what did you do? And she said that she bought dishes, things that she needed for the house, and obviously I told her that shopping is not a sport. You can't stand up. I mean, you have to walk, but walk at a pace that makes it hard for you to talk.
Do you know, you don't have to walk like crazy, but do a few kilometers. Every 7 or 8 minutes is a kilometer, so each kilometer is time. Doing a kilometer in 7 or 8 minutes is a very good pace, and your body will thank you for it. And little by little, you will see how your body asks for more.
But people, shopping is not a sport. It's a way to spend money. But there are no shopping Olympic Games. Okay, perfect. And what do you think of those people who use plastic wrap? I know a patient who bought a lot of plastic wrap to grab food or sandwiches, and he used it on his stomach because he said that he would lose weight faster and only lose water, of course.
I don't recommend it because the body is pure water and it has to transpire. The pores have to transpire. If you cover them, the only thing you can do is suffocate yourself immediately, and you can even have a scare faint. Let it go to the body little by little, sweating, but with your sports clothes. But I don't recommend plastics and things like that. Don't make your body transpire.
Plus, you can get into trouble in the middle of the street and have to be helped by people around you. Okay, have you ever seen anyone around you who has lost a lot of weight, or a person who went from a size 3XL to a size L, for example?
Yes, He was a boy who I saw when I went running, when we crossed paths, and he was quite fat, but every day I saw him. I was running and he was walking slowly. That's why I say that walking is really good. I saw him with his little bottle of water, and every day we crossed paths, and as time went by, I saw him again, and I saw that he was much thinner. And I don't know how much that boy weighed because I didn't have the confidence to ask him. We only say hello, hello. But I guess that he weighed about 90 kg for sure at the moment. And then when I saw him again, he weighed about 65 kilos for sure from the size I saw him. And the boy continued day after day with this little bottle of water and walking. Of course, he only walked, but of course, he did good distances, and here everything is uphill. And he was probably on a diet. A little good food and sport, especially sport, is the best.
Okay, then there are people who get too hooked on doing sports, which is a thing called bigorexia. But we are not going to deal with this topic because this video is for Bangladesh, where people do not move and we want them to move. So that they do not get diabetes and stop being the #1 country in diabetics. So what I am going to ask you is, knowing about diets, what do you recommend? I normally tend to prescribe a Mediterranean diet. I'm not a fan of the keto diet, even it's fashionable, because I think that if you are not diabetic, why remove a group food? Because in the long run, it will cause problems in your body. You can do the keto diet for a week, but not continually over time. Cutting out an entire food group is an aberration. You can have a lot of problems. You don't know how many people end up at the gastroenterologist for this reason, for doing keto cytogenic diets for long periods of time. And then, intermittent fasting, I don't consider it a diet because it's not about the hours you eat, but what you eat. That's why I'm not against fasting as long as they eat well during the hours they do it. In your case, what would you advise for losing weight without exaggerating about cutting out? Because when people are given a very low calories diet, apart from the fact that it's not healthy, they stop it straight away because it's impossible to follow it and they get tired.
I would recommend eating fish at night and whatever you eat during the day. Get used to reducing the amount and especially reducing the amount of bread, because bread is high in carbohydrates and makes you eat more food than you should. For example, if a person eats one bread, reduce it to 100 grams, a little at midday and a little at night. But above all, eat a lighter dinner so you don't go to bed with a full stomach.
And having to burn less the next day. And there, for example, we don't have much bread, and the first thing they cut out when they go on diets is rice. What do you think about drastically cutting out rice from one day to the next? Is it advisable?
It doesn't matter. Well, I would also reduce it at night because what it does is create a mass in the stomach, and at night is not advisable, but not the rest of the day.
Unless you are going to do an incredible amount of exercise in the next morning and you will be fasting.
But I don't recommend it either. I recommend eating light dinner at night. In the morning, when the body is working from one place to another, you have to feed it, because if not, you will feel a little sick and even dizzy. But I don't recommend cutting out all the rice because it's a good food, but especially cutting it out at night. At night, I don't recommend eating pasta or rice. Replace it with vegetables and a little fish or omelette, which is lighter. And for the person who wants to lose weight, if they start with that, you will see that in a week, just by cutting out the things that will make you fat at night, just that, in a week, you will notice a change.
Well, look, I tell patients more or less that, and not drinking soda, drinking only water, is basically reducing the amount of sugar, but They prefer to believe the dietitian who prescribes them a keto diet or an exaggerated low-calorie diet, which makes them lose a lot of weight in the first week, and they go to that nutritionist. And then what happens? They stop the diet after 2 weeks because it's something they cannot be sustained over time, and in the end, they have the rebound effect. What do you think about this? Should we lie to patients or should we tell them the truth? Because lying to them maybe is good because at least you get them hooked some.
I don't know. As you are telling me this, I didn't know it either, but I don't see it as very logical to lose so much in a week because you are only going to lose water and you are going to gain it back. The thing is that if you lose 5 kilos in a week because they tell you to eat nothing, you are not going to gain it back because you are going to want to eat even the stones. If you go on a diet of 1,000 calories or less, you are going to gain it back and it's going to be worse for you later because your stomach closes. And then you have to make it open. And then you can have a lot of stomach problems. But of course, what you have to do is willpower. Because if you don't have willpower, especially in sports, you can eat less for 2 days, but on the third day, you are going to eat a lot more. Lose weight little by little, sustain over time, small changes, and willpower.
It's like learning English. For example, you are not going to learn English in a month, and losing 10 kilos in a month is not enough without putting your health in risk.
To lose weight, I lost a lot of weight little by little. The first few months, I lost a lot of weight, but then I kept it off. And when you have to keep it up, because if you don't keep it up, you will lose everything you have suffered during a year in a month. So it's going to be a stage in your life. Then it's about keeping it up, controlling your food a little, and above all, continuing to exercise is the most important thing.
Exactly. And to finish, I want to tell you something that I am often asked at the clinic. Why are we Spaniards so thin and so good at sports, but they are the complete opposite? It is genetics? Is it a lack of willpower? Is it both?
I think genetics comes first, but I think we also encourage each other.
There, as soon as they are losing weight, the rest of the people tell them, eat my sweets, and then ruin your diet and discourage you.
Genetics and lack of willpower do a lot, and of course you look better, and if people tell you you are thinner, you look handsome, you look well. That does a lot, and I think that is why we say to each other, look how handsome he is. People here encourage you a lot.
Here in Spain, it is even common to go out to do sports with your partner or with your friends. But it is very complicated there. I had a patient who lost 20 or 30 kilos after her pregnancy, with her friends insulting her, swimming in a lake near her house, all by herself. That is incredible, with everyone against you. It is a sign of admiration and great character, but of course, it is complicated there.
Not here, not here. Here the other way around. If they see you, like, they encourage you, and if they see you alone, they say, look how good. Look at the willpower that goes alone without anyone. And that encouraged me a lot because I have done a lot of sport alone. And many people do sport alone. And then you start meeting up with more people, but you start alone. And that is the fundamental thing. And that they go to encourage you. And at the same time, you encourage others doing the sport.
What do you prefer, individual or team sports?
I prefer individual.
But going with people?
Yes, exactly. Like mountain climbing, spinning. I also like football, but more to watch it. But I don't usually do it like that.
Okay, perfect. One last piece of advice that you would like to give to the people who are watching this video, who are thinking about going on a diet and cannot do it, and who propose to themselves every day that they will do sport tomorrow, but that tomorrow never comes?
Above all, what I have said, that they should control themselves at night, that they should respect it, and sport will hurt their legs, their arms, their mind will tell them to stop, but their heart will tell them to keep going, please keep going. That is what I recommend, that they listen to their heart and that they keep doing sport.
I always say that doing sport is like studying, that there are days when you don't feel like it, but you still do it. What motivates you in those cases where you don't feel like doing sports?
Oh, I don't think that someone who has been doing sport for 20 years feels like it every day. Because I come from work and I am tired and I don't feel like doing sport many times either. But I do.
But what motivates you?
What motivates me is when one day I couldn't go because I haven't been able to because time hasn't let me leave the house. I wanted it and then I missed it.
One last message you want to give to the audience?
Do sport. You will see how your body will thank you very much and your joints.
Yes, movement makes everything heartless. It seems like a contradiction, but if you stay in bed, they will end up hurting more and they will remain static so that you will remain immobile.
As for the back itself, I have back problems and when I don't go sport for my back immediately hurts.
Exactly. Well, he's not grown and he has a lot of experience. Please try to go on a diet, try to do sport. If it doesn't work one day, it will work the next. But don't stop trying because there will be a day when you will be successful. And that day will be the beginning of the change in your life and your diabetes type 2. Thank you very much and see you in the next interview. Greetings.